Hi there. We know the Brexit transition period is soon coming to an end, and this is going to seriously impact seasonal jobs for young people in the Alps, for example. And SBiT, which is Seasonal Businesses in Travel, have started a petition to just lobby the government to say, look, you need to do something about this, and you can do something about this. So I caught up with Graham Bell, Ed Leigh, and Emily Sarsfield, who've all worked in the industry for years, and they're really passionate about this subject. And I asked them exactly what they thought and how we can all help. So, hi guys, how are you doing?
We're very good.
Hey, we're here to talk about ski seasons. There is some threat to that at the moment, and Brexit, is happening. We know that, but it's what the government does with that is going to make the difference. I'm sure you've all done different jobs. And Emily, go on, you kick off.
First ski season job, chalet maid. Did a year working in a hotel.
And I mean, did you find that quite easy at the time? And do you think that really helped kickstart your career off as a ski racer?
So that was the first job of many along that athletic career.
Oh, I know you worked as a ski instructor throughout as well, at your time when you were racing, which is
took a while to qualify to that point.
In France.
Yeah.
And we know now that is also under threat.
That's for me, that's the craziest thing, because it seems to me that the British government has given up on this equivalence between the BASI level 4 and international ski instructor being able to teach in Europe for no other reason than I can't understand the reason why they would want to do that, because there aren't that many ski instructors from Europe who want to come teach on British snow. But there's thousands of British ski instructors who've been training up for years to try and get to be able to teach in France and in the Alps, and to give it up willingly for no reason at all is, for me, is mind-blowing.
The baseline is that ski resorts are diverse places by nature. You've got so many different people from so many different countries around Europe traveling to these places. Yes, you can have some staff, but who are local, those core staff. But in France, if we're focusing on France, right now you have such tight seasonal contracts. There are no short-term contracts essentially for French workers. So these external contracts that British, Dutch, German workers come in on are the only way that you can make a ski holiday work. My great fear right now is that the moment you close off this section of the job market, the price of a ski holiday, once you adhere to the French contracts, is going to go through the roof. And we're going to go back to the 70s, where the price of skiing makes it a completely elitist pursuit.
That's a really good point, Ed. I mean, the opportunity to do ski seasons for a lot of people that might not be able to go on a ski holiday, right? And actually go out to work.
Interestingly, I came from a sailing family, so I had sailing instructors qualification. So I was doing the inverse of Emily and Graham. I was working April to late October in Greece, and then I'd come back, I'd do double shifts, McDonald's and a snowboard shop, up the money, and then I'd go out and just snowboard.
I see, yeah.
December to March. But critically, I would have to trim that in. Like, you'll only get 90 days on your visa in Europe if we don't get this freedom of movement for young people.
I've got to confess, I never did a full season in a resort. So my thing is I got onto the British ski team very young, and I was basically, my seasons were following the World Cup circuit. But when we came to places like Val d'Isère, where there were a lot of Brits in town, I developed a lot of close contact with them. It was very much part of my life to be able to kind of have those contacts that were, those seasonal workers were that was kind of my support network, if you like. And yeah, I did a few jobs, later on in the season in order to kind of keep going and extend my season right to the end. Kind of handyman, cleaning the toilets, that kind of thing. Anything broken, I'll come and fix it. So I did my share, working behind bars and stuff like that. So, for me, the thing is that we've got, this is almost part of our Olympic pathway that's being threatened, because, as I say, Emily was saying that she couldn't afford it to be able to race full time. So she needed that employment. If you look at the likes of Jenny Jones, Billy Morgan, Olympic medalists, they started their on snow training in employment because they wouldn't have been able to afford it. And if we cut that off, it's only the rich kids that are going to be able to afford to go out and do a season, because they don't need to work. I don't want skiing to get any more elitist than it already is, and that is the problem. It's a massive problem. We're going to lose all of these seasonal workers, and we've got to find a way of making it, of reversing it.
I think that's like a huge point as well, Graham. Like there's a lot of people who are out in Maribel, Three Valleys and many resorts who wouldn't have the opportunity. Their first opportunity of going skiing is to do a season job. And yes, okay, you might not get paid like a fortune and stuff like that, but you're there for the experience and then return back to the UK with those extra skills to get a job, maybe it's in hospitality or whatever it could be, management or logistics. And then some of them actually stay out there and end up managing kind of bars, restaurants, hotels. And I think kind of not being able to get that opportunity, if it's purely down to pound notes, is not really fair.
I think the model has changed since then, slightly. Since the medals have been won in 2014, there's a lot more funding to develop this pathway. We've got people like Mia Brooks. Dad's back in the UK. Her mum's got a caravan where they'll spend the winter. That's the lengths they're going to. They're winter camping. As we said before, those basic visa privileges of the articles I've read so far about France, where the bulk of the British workforce heads, the jobs are going to have to be advertised in a French job centre for a minimum of 6 weeks with no applicants before they can be offered to a Brit, who then, if they get the job, then has to apply for a visa, which costs a minimum of £400. And you have to take that job, as we said before, on that long-term French contract. The reality of a British person jumping, again, as you said, Greg, being able to jump through those hoops to make that a reality, and then the companies being able to afford to run that, it's not going to happen. I can't believe I'm saying it because I'm an eternal optimist, but I'm deeply, deeply pessimistic about British operators surviving this if it goes ahead.
Maybe one of the plus sides is that the British chalet holiday would be missed by the resorts, because generally what they do is they'll book out a hotel for the entire season, and because they've invested their staff out there, they would fill those quiet weeks, the January hole between Christmas and New Year and the busy half-term weeks of February. They'll fill those weeks by discounting because their staff are already there. When and if the French decide to get rid of British chalets altogether, they're going to get very, very quiet, because second week in January, normally the resort's full of Brits, but and not many French, and it will change the whole dynamic of the ski resort.
We do have different issues here, kind of all hitting each other at the same time, don't we? We have obviously COVID for this season, which is a temporary situation. We have Brexit, and we have EU legislation as well, which is coming in despite whatever happens with Brexit. That obviously tour operators the last 2 or 3 years have had to start working within that increased legislation. But what can we do here in the UK to try and say to people that, obviously, firstly, going out and doing a ski season, working in a ski resort, doing whatever you can do is a great thing to do, and also it can change your life. And what can we do to say to the government, you need to change things. You need to make sure that when you're negotiating this Brexit deal, that this is looked at, and this is considered carefully, because we know there's 25,000 people's jobs at risk.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be some kind of quid pro quo agreement that that we allow the freedom of movement, at least for young people, over short periods of time, because we want Europeans coming in to British cities and working on short-term contracts, working for 3 or 4 months and going home again. We are definitely going to have to do that. So why can't we have some kind of agreement where we can send young people, and our young people can go abroad because it's for their benefit?
I think it's just sad that other people might not get that opportunity.
Well, there's an element of taking people out of their comfort zone, putting them somewhere really inspirational, and to a degree leaving them to their own devices in quite a stressful situation. You're basically dealing with the public. You're forward facing, but you've got to run stuff, but you've got this incredible incentive on the side, which is the community and the environment that you get to ski with and in. And for me, if you do that for 1 or 2 years, but then you take all of that skill set back to the UK, it is still a massive bonus. Young people, 18 to 25 years old, get that opportunity, learn those skills, critically gain that confidence to work in that environment and say, you know what, I'll have a go. Giving a young person the chance to work with no rent overheads, no bills. They've still got to work. You've got to work damn hard, but you do it with this lovely cherry on the cake of working on a beach or working up the mountains. And it gives people a lot. I think confidence was the big takeaway for me. And that's informed a lot of the rest of my life. And the idea that the next generation won't get the chance to do that breaks my heart.
Sorry, Ed, but one of the things that's crazy to me is like we've got all of these charities that do just that take young people abroad. You know,
Absolutely.
Rally International is a classic example. Snow Camp is the one that we're all ambassadors of, and that their whole premise is that you're taking young people out of their usual situation and getting them out to the Alps is a massively beneficial thing. They've produced ski instructors, they've produced people who are working in the industry, and they understand it. They understand it very well how important that is, and they're going to suffer as well. And it does seem crazy that there's so many signposts to say that this is such a good thing. Losing it will be another huge blow to young people in the UK.
I know there is a campaign running right now. There's an organization called SBiT, which is Seasonal Businesses in Travel. They are running a campaign at the moment and they've got a petition that can be signed to encourage the government to look at this properly. If you go on any of our Facebook pages, well, on mine, it's one of the most recent posts. You'll see I've lobbed something up and there's a link there. You can go and sign the petition. And that's literally all it is at this stage. Like, get numbers on that petition, share it as much as you can. And then we will have a good platform to start raising that question with the other thing you can do, if you feel passionately about it, is write to your local MEP. Well, thanks for that. It's been really interesting and some really good insights there. And yeah, we just hope that we can continue working in the mountains as British people going forward. It will make a big difference to a lot of people's lives. Thank you very much, Robin.
Yeah,
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Bye.